Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So first of all, let's get on with this because listen, the world is crazy right now. The world is bonkers. There are multiple active shooters going on right now in the United Kingdom. Synagogues are being targeted. UK special forces bases are being targeted. Right, listen, just let me throw this out there, right? Is anyone under the illusion that World War III is not happening right now? Is anyone under the illusion that we are not actually living through World War III right now? There was somebody on the chat earlier on, and they were saying, oh, Sean, that would be World War III. What you're talking about is World War III. And like, in my head, right, if you are one of those people who are in absolute denial right now, ask yourselves this, right? What would it take for you to believe we are in World War III? If, for example, I'll give you two scenarios here, right? If every country in the world was in an active conflict, firing bombs, missiles, drones, naval strikes, special forces strikes, every country in the world was attacking everybody else. But nobody had come up on the mainstream media and said, I hereby declare on the 3rd hour of the 9th minute, on this day forth, the world shall be at war. Like, where do we go with that? Because I'm pretty convinced that there are a lot of people in the world right now who are so blinkered with what's really happening, they don't really know what's happening. Why? Because the mainstream media have not told them what's happening. So if all the countries in all the worlds are all fighting among each other, there's drones, intercontinental ballistic missiles, airstrikes going in, but there's not been an announcement on BBC, then we're clearly not in World War III, right? Clearly, the world is not at war because the BBC hasn't told you you're at war, right? Even though every country's fighting, right? Paradoxically, if no countries are fighting and the BBC tell you you're at war, at World War III, then you must be at World War III because the BBC tell you so. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, on this channel, right, today's news is old news. One of the things I always say to you guys is let your eyes tell you the truth, right? Literally, it's very simple, okay? Let your eyes tell you the truth. So listen, without further ado, I'm just going to jump real quick to what's been happening in the United States. So there is a developing situation in the United States. Now, I do believe this has been contained at this point. However, I'm going to share with you guys a video right now. Where is it? There we are. Hang on, let me get this to the back.
At Temple, Israel, and they say a major scene was reported there. If you're familiar with the area, this is located on Walnut Lake Road. So a live look there, thanks to our Fox 2 Detroit.
So if you're joining for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, there is, remember, right now, at the time of giving this live stream, the situation's dynamic, the situation's fluid. Things may change. You may be watching this live stream in a couple of hours, and what I'm saying right now is not true. But at the time of talking about this, the information that I believe I'm giving you is correct at this time.
Helicopter, as we see that there is some smoke there from a building, and that seems to be where the helicopter is concentrating this live look. It's a little hard to tell, but we do see that emergency responders are surrounding this building. According to Fox 2 Detroit, there is a threat underway at Temple, Israel there in Michigan.
So that's the first video I want to share with you guys. So it does look like there is an active shooter situation going on right now in the United States. Now, Also, there's a few videos out there saying that. Let me try and find this one. Right, where am I going? Right, okay. So there's another video out. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, right now, take everything that you're hearing in this live stream, with a pinch of salt. I don't know what's real anymore. Reality is not a real metric anymore. This could be AI, but let me share with you guys this video.
The description. Who was the shooter? Describe those people at all. The description of the shooter, they said he was a Muslim man. I know he was.
So this guy here. I'm not saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not in the United States. I have no inside information on this. But this gentleman here is saying that the shooter was a Muslim man. Now, look, I need to be clear. I don't know if this is true. This is what the mainstream media in the United States are saying, that this was a Muslim man committing these shootings.
He was a Muslim man. I know he was a student at ODU, but we do not know his classification. And I know one of the people that were injured, that was said was to be injured, was one of the professors. Okay. Was the information about the description of the shooter, did you get that from professors, or what was the credibility on that information? That one, I'm pretty sure we did get that from professors, but everything else has so far been from professors. So at the moment, I'm not really fully confirmed on everything, but that's just what we're being receiving right now. Sure. Well, the response and the reaction from people once this word got around, was it orderly? Was it?
So what he's saying there, and look, I need to be quite clear, ladies and gentlemen, right now, as I'm giving this live stream, this situation is developing. In a couple of hours, the news may have changed. However, what we know and what we can take from this situation, from this scenario right now, the world has gone absolutely bonkers. So let me give you guys what we know so far about the active shooter situation in the United States. We're then going to talk about the active shooter situation in Norway, and then we are going to talk about British Special Forces base. A British Special Forces base has come under drone attack in Iraq. That's what's happened just today, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be missing a few things. They're the things that I'm going to bring to you guys' attention today. So, just after midday local time, early evening here in the United Kingdom, a man deliberately drove a truck straight through the front doors of Temple, Israel, one of the biggest synagogues in the United States. He smashed inside, continued down the hallway, and the vehicle caught fire, sending thick black smoke pillowing through the roof. Shots were fired during the incident. So imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally what I'm talking about right now is Rami on steroids. So from what we're hearing from the media, and look, I wasn't there. I'm trying to give you guys an up-to-date analysis of what's happening. A man who we found out to be a Muslim man, who was a student at a local university, has rammed a vehicle through the doors in a synagogue. There's been a fire inside. Now, I don't know whether that was filled with diesel, gas, or petrol, or whatever. Shots were fired inside during the incident. Thankfully, the synagogue's armed security team reacted immediately. They engaged the suspect, and he is now, as far as I understand it, he's brown bread, shot by security personnel on site. One security guard was injured. He was struck by the truck and knocked unconscious, but his injuries are not life-threatening, and he is expected to make a full recovery. Crucially, no children, no staff, no congregants were hurt. The synagogue had an attached school. everyone inside the school has been accounted for and safe. Now, the local sheriff's office, working with the FBI and ATF, which is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, have confirmed, right? Have confirmed it was a deliberate vehicle ramming attack followed by gunfire. Say that to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. A deliberate vehicle ramming followed by gunfire. That's what the local authorities are saying in the United States, okay? That's not me speculating. That's not my analysis. That's not my opinion. This is official reports now coming from the United States that this was a targeted, deliberate vehicle ramming of a synagogue in Michigan, followed by gunfire. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, because here in the United States, here in the United Kingdom, we don't have rifles, do we? We don't have firearms, and we don't have vehicles, do we? Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, we definitely do have vehicles, right? We definitely do have vehicles. Now, the suspect's identity and motive have not yet been released. However, from you, if you were watching me earlier, the video I just shared with you guys, people are claiming that this was a Muslim man who was a member of the local university. That's what people are claiming. I don't know if this is credible. This is not official, okay? So the suspect's identity and motive, I just want to reiterate that, have not yet officially been released. Investigators are still piecing together, reviewing CCTV, speaking to witnesses. At this stage, no one is ruling anything out. Now, this comes clearly, unless you've been living in a cave, and maybe some of you guys have, this comes as a backdrop that we've all recognized. A sharp rise in community tensions all over the West. And this has been happening over recent years, whether it's verbal abuse, whether it's vandalism. It's quite clear that community tensions are high. And when I say community, that's a code word for something, right? Here in the United Kingdom, we've seen our own surge. Synagogues, schools, community centres given extra protection. Jewish people feeling less safe, walking the streets in certain areas. What happened in the United States is a reminder that international violence turns national very quickly. And look, let me just throw this out there right now. I think everybody needs to go home. And I mean that with all due respect to everyone, right? Wherever you believe your home, if you're in the United Kingdom right now, like, the best way to avert violence is for everyone to go home. That's the best way. If you are Jewish, go to Israel, right? I can guarantee if you're Jewish, you'll be safer. Like, I can guarantee if you are Jewish in the United Kingdom, you'll be safer in Israel, right? If you're Somalian, go back to Somalia, right? If you are Pakistani, go back to Pakistan, right? Whatever these countries are that you believe you share that affinity with, go back there. Right now, go back there, because what's coming, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be dark. It's going to be devilish. It's going to be destructive. And we are seeing the first breadcrumbs right now. And I will come back to that, guys. But there's also a developing situation right now also in Norway. So tonight, in the quiet northern city of Trondheim, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Trondheim. I love those Norwegian names. Trondheim, Norway, a place that, I don't think anybody could point to that on a map, certainly not me. Something is unfolding. Now, I'm hearing varying reports of what's happening on the ground. Now, there is a active operation at the Trondheim synagogue. The chairman of the local Jewish congregation spoke to Norwegian newspaper this evening and confirmed it plainly. There is an ongoing police operation at the synagogue. what we know so far is limited. It's limited to what's happened at this synagogue in Norway. It's literally just happened within the last like 30, maybe last 60 minutes at least. What we know so far is limited, and the picture is still forming. All right. So, like I said with the previous incident in the United States, what's happening in Norway is developing, and by the time you listen to this, the situation may have changed. So, armed police officers, with rifles, ballistic vests, shields, swiftly cordoned off large parts of the district around the synagogue. Reports describe suspicious behavior near the synagogue that triggered the response. One person has been arrested on site. Police are now searching for at least one other individual who is believed to have left the area in a vehicle. Beyond that, details remain sparse. If you guys do a quick Google search, active incident Norway synagogue, you'll get quite a lot of news articles, but the information, the details are very sparse. So one of two things is happening. Either one, this is a non-incident and it is overblown, or two, it's media controlling the situation because they don't want to let people know how much they've failed in their own countries. Again, this comes across the same backdrop that feels all too familiar in Europe across the West right now. Norwegian Jewish sites have been under heightened alert in recent days. Just 4 days ago, there was a small explosion outside the American embassy in Oslo, capital of Norway. No injuries, however, just another reminder of how tensions rippling from the Middle East are setting through everybody right now. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, can you guys remember actually? Shas Minu. Can you guys remember 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, as we were getting closer to the 28th of February, right? I was saying to everyone, right? Ladies and gentlemen, right? And when I say these things on the chat, right, it's not because I'm like, just trying to make content. I'm saying these things on the chat because I genuinely see them, right? So when I come on the chat and I say to you guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what's coming. And then when it happens, I tell you how to react, right? So probably even before that, certainly 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th of February. I was saying to you guys, listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay? And I did my live streams up until that event to make it relevant, right? So one of the things I was saying was, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay? When those first airstrikes, I wasn't even saying if, I was saying when, right? I was saying when. When those first airstrikes go into Iran, take that as number one. That is the first tick in your trigger box. And everybody's trigger box is going to be different, right? Because the likelihood of sleeper cells being activated jumps drastically. Now, if you guys consider what's happened since the 28th, there wasn't a 29th of February, right? If you guys consider what's happened since the 28th of February, like domestically in whatever country that you guys live in, attacks, protests, bombs, shootings. Yeah, but don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, everything's fine. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to jump onto the chat. So that's what we're talking about tonight, guys, okay? There have been many attacks, multiple active shooters I don't know if that's fair. Guys, is that fair? Multiple active shooters. We're just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there, guys, okay? Multiple active. I don't want to put incidents, but I haven't got enough space to put anything else. So, right, I'm just going to leave that there. However, also, additionally to all this, ladies and gentlemen, okay, we have got British Special Forces base in Iraq has been attacked. That's, oh, hang on a minute. Googlinos is saying there's another incident in East Busway in Pittsburgh. Hang on, give me a second. Let me get this up. Oh, error. Right, hang on. Right, I'm not getting anything on the mainstream media, Googlinos, about that. Can you tell me where you're getting that from, Googlinos, and then I'll share it? I'm not. The latest I'm getting something from is the 5th of December, 2025. Bomb squad sweeps Pittsburgh Symphony's chartered plane in response to threat. So I don't know where you're getting that Googliness from. If it's just happened, then it's clearly not going to be on the mainstream media. Right, let me jump down and get the chat, guys. Let me jump down and get the chat. Good afternoon, good evening, actually, everyone. Good evening. How is everyone? Listen, how does everybody feel right now in the how does everybody feel living through World War III? Does everybody feel okay living through World War III? Has everyone just accepted now that like it's happening and there's nothing you can do about it? I know I have. Emma Jane Taylor is saying, I'm a UK resident waiting for a Portuguese visa. I bought a house there thinking it'd be a better life. I'm stuck in the UK and suddenly I feel I should stay here. Do you know what, Emma Jane? I feel absolutely the same. Like we can move. Honestly, like right now, I can move to Ukraine and there's a house, there's everything there. Everything. I could move to Ukraine right now. I could move to Texas as well in the United States. I can literally get a job in Texas like right now, like getting like a 9 till 5, working 9 till 5. I can get a job in Texas straight away. With what is it, the EB1 visa or whatever it is. I've literally got my friend there. He's ex-British military. He's got his own company in. He actually started it in California, but they've moved to Texas. And he's like, Sean, come out, mate. I will. You live, you work, you pay taxes, everything will be fine. But I'm pretty much the same as you, Emma. I'm like, wherever you go, these problems are going to be the same. Wherever you go, these problems are going to be the same. And this is the reality of the world that we live in right now, okay? We are moving forwards to this. What did I say earlier? The New World Administration. The New World Administration? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The New World Administration. Where, and I don't know what's going to happen when we come out of this. After the Second World War, there was a brief period of renaissance. There was a brief period where this is where you get the boomers from, right? The boomers are the war babies, right? The boomers are the war babies, and they grew up in absolute utopia because their parents made it that way, right? That's the reality. The boomers grew up in utopia because their parents made it that way. Now, their parents only made it that way because they had hard times. So it comes back to that very fundamental meme, the meme of all memes, one meme to rule them all, and in the darkness, bind them. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. And unfortunately, my generation and the Gen Xers have created weak times. I'll admit it, I will absolutely admit it. I'd say it's more the Gen Xers than the millennials. I'm a millennial. I hate being a millennial, guys. I do. I absolutely hate being a millennial. Right, let me jump down and get some more comments. I would not even pronounce that word. Artist, somebody with a load of Sean, incident in Greece. Right, let me Google this. Listen, the world's gone bonkers, right? And look, before I Google this, right? If you've not watched my prepping, if you don't watch my prepping 101 videos, I try to give you guys as much real world advice as I can in those prepping 101 videos. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I do videos, and if it's one of these prepping advice videos, I don't do them that often because I don't consider myself as one of these preppers. Like if I was to go in the woods and have to scratch a living looking for berries and, squirrel meat, I'd be gone real quick. Honestly, I would. I'd be gone real quick. However, if we're talking about urban survival, evacuating, and all that sort of stuff, I'm pretty competent with that. So in my Prepping 101 videos, I've already talked about everything that you need to understand, okay? If you live in the United Kingdom right now, okay, everybody needs to understand the algorithm. Hibernate, relocate, evacuate. That is going to save your bacon more than a sausage roll, right? Let me just try and find this. Right, what we look at. Right, hang on. Give me a second. Right, let me try and find this. Whereabouts in Greece? I'm not getting anything. I'm getting Harry Maguire. I'm getting Harry Maguire, and I'm getting 2 weeks ago, 8 bodies recovered in Libya. So I don't know. I don't know what that. Can you give me more context, please? Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just jumping to the bottom. Oh, hang on. Lisa Jane is saying, Sean, look at Rocket Man Gaming, and it's all gone wrong. Right, Rocket Man. Right, let me try and jump up and get these guys. Yeah, Silly Gallardi, I can't find anything that's happening in Greece either. I don't know. Let me just try and find Rocket Man Gaming. We'll try and find Rocket Man Gaming first. Right, I can't find Rocket Man. I don't know where Rocket Man Gaming is. Where's Rocket Man Gaming? Yeah, listen, there's quite a few people in the chat. I'm just looking now saying there's a serious incident in Greece, but I can't find anything about it. I can't find anything about anything on the mainstream media about what's happening in Greece. So if somebody can tell me what news articles reported on that in Greece, I'd be really grateful. Right, I can't find Rocket Man. How far up's Rocket Man Gaming's post? Right, I'm almost at the top. Right, I can't find Rocket Man's game. Right, Rocket Man Gaming's post. Rocket Man Gaming, if you're back on, if you're on right now, Rocket Man Gaming, can you please repost what you said? Because I absolutely can't find it. Oh, there is that it? Or can someone say? Oh, there we are. Imagine being Sean's wife, not getting a word in edgeways. Is that what we're saying? Rocket Man Gaming, is that what you're saying? Well, listen, you know, you can't get a word in edgeways with the people who are right, obviously. Right, let me. Right, I'm trying to find Lisa. Right, it's all gone wrong. It's all gone wrong. Can you give me your post as well? It's all gone wrong. I'm looking for it's all gone wrong. I'm literally looking for it. Oh, there we are. I'm not finding news on Greece either yet either. Oh, actually, sorry. No. Sorry. Okay, so Sean, drones gone missing from US base. Okay, so first of all, when we talk about drone warfare, it's there's so many different aspects to this. So there's these ones, right? These like quadcopter drone things. They are I need to get a new picture actually on that. Those things are what are replacing artillery. These things are the long range, and these things are the ridiculously expensive US military things. Now, these things are not really changing warfare. These things and these things are. So let me try and find this out. Wow, this is quite. This I think this is actually a big. You know, I'm assuming this is a big story. I mean, it should be a big story at least. So, manhunt for masked thieves who raid. Leading to the arrest. Now, this was back in November. So I a two-stroke combustion engine. It can also have electric motors and batteries. Very expensive. Those motors and batteries become very expensive. Then you've got the ailerons, the rudders, and the control systems, the autopilot. A lot of expensive equipment. These things here as well, they all have expensive parts. So what I think will have happened with this with these drones that have been stolen from this US base, I would say that the parts have been stripped down and sold. That's what I think is. If you're planning an attack involving drones, right? We already know that you can buy, I don't know if you guys were on the live stream earlier, but maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was today, I don't know. But you can buy this system in the United States like that, exactly the same. That's an, what is it? It's an X8, it's an X8. Guys, can you please let me know when I'm back on? I don't even know if I'm streaming right now. I could literally just be talking into oblivion. I might, yes, I think I'm back on. Right, I think I'm back on. Right, okay. Miloki is saying help. Right, thank you, Danny Stonehouse, for letting me know I'm back, buddy. Thank you so much. Right, let's get on to this, ladies and gentlemen, because the United Kingdom has come under attack today. I should probably change the heading of this live stream. UK troops at Iraq base shot down Iranian drones, John Healy says. You can imagine that conversation that they're having now. Yes, Sergeant Major, the enemy are here, here, and here. Okay, Sergeant Major, where are we? Sergeant Major, I was hoping you... Officer Commanding, I was hoping you would tell me. No, I've no bloody idea. Has anyone got a map or a compass? So it does look like right now, and there's conflicting reports right now because some news outlets, hang on. Some news outlets are reporting British Special Forces base attacked by Iranian drones. Now, I'm going to get to the bottom of this, and we're just going to share this, and we're going to see what this is all about. And I'll share this headline with you guys now. Drone blitz Brits in Special Forces base attack by Iranian drones. So that's what they're saying, right? So it does look like a Special Forces base is attacked. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So this is what they're saying, okay? A British Special Forces base in Iraq was hit by a barrage of drones last night as top UK generals confirm Russia was definitely helping Iran. Okay. I'm not making that headline up. I promise you guys, I am not making that headline up. So what we can take from this, right? You know how I always say there's a lot more to the media than the media. Look at what the media are reporting. Look at what they're pushing. Look at the narrative, all right? First of all, I can guarantee there's no evidence, no definitive evidence. Although I believe it's true, but I've not seen any evidence released that the Russians are actively helping the Iranians. I've not seen any evidence released. I do believe that is the case. I absolutely do. However, for a mainstream media outlet to say, as Russians help, if I said that, that would be fake news, right? Now, it's the narrative, okay? So, like I've said on this channel so many times, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the United Kingdom, and I do, your main intent is going to be Ukraine. It's going to be Europe. And very soon, you are going to see headlines like this. British forces defend United States airbase in Germany. European forces thwart drone attack on, US base. You're going to see these things happening because of this diversions between the United States and Europe. Because remember, divide and conquer is real. Hang on, somebody just put a super up. Hang on, give me a second. Who's spamming? Lisa Jane, who's spamming? Right, let me get to the bottom of this. Who's spamming? Who's spamming? Right, let me find who's spamming. Right, 4 Paws is saying it as well. Who's spamming? Right, let me find them. Let me find the spammer. I'll find the spammer. Right, okay, I think... Is this the spammer? Right, okay. Right, I'm just going to take that person off. I think that was the spammer. I think the spammer's gone. Thank you for that, guys. Thank you Thank you for letting me know there was a spammer. The spammer's gone. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. The spammer's gone, ladies and gentlemen. But listen, Ruby Roo is saying he's rambling away whilst frozen. No, I totally agree. So listen, just quickly, right? Just quickly. You know when the screen, you know when I'm like looking at a news article or something, and then I click back to, because if you guys don't know, I've got like 3 screens open in front of me. I've got like you guys, I've got you guys, and I've got you guys. So I've got 3 screens open, and I flick between different things. So if I'm looking at a different screen and then I look back and the screen's blank and I've got like the swirly thing, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I just talking to oblivion. Right. Listen, let me stop talking into oblivion and get this, because listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay. Thursday evening, March the 12th or whatever it is, fresh details have emerged about Britain's direct involvement in the tensions, the escalating tensions, and they are escalating in the Middle East. As the US-Israel war with Iran continues into its second week, Defense Secretary John Healey has confirmed that British forces stationed in Iraq successfully shot down 2 Iranian drones overnight in a defensive action. Remember how they keep throwing that out there, the defensive action, at a coalition base in Erbil, which is the capital of that Kurdish region in northern Iraq. The base, primarily controlled by United States, but often hosting other coalition partners, including British personnel, came under attack from a swarm of unmanned aerial vehicles. Now, a few things from this article that I just want to highlight to everyone, right? So this base in Iraq, in Kurdistan, like the mainstream media are telling us, is primarily controlled by the United States, but often hosts coalition partners, including the United Kingdom. So what that says to everyone is Britain and America are still working together very tightly, right? Like I always said, there's never going to be any, there will never be any, there will never will there be any caveat to that. You know, it's like Donald Trump said the other day when he posted on his Truth Social or whatever, something about the British military will always be with the United States. And that's true. Looking forwards from that post, what I got was the way that the United States will take the United Kingdom. And look, if you want to challenge me on that, absolutely, that's absolutely fine. All right, I do think Britain will become part of the United States very soon, and I think all this stuff's going to happen real quick. All right. I've often thought to myself, how is this actually going to happen? And I've actually done live streams on this. I've said how Britain will become part of the United States, how Donald Trump will take the United States, how America will take Britain. I've done quite a lot of them. But that post that Donald Trump did on his Truth Social, that particular post, that to me was a lot more than just a fine post. That post to me said that the way Britain will become part of the United States is by the way of military coup. Yep, I've said it, guys. Britain is going to have a military coup. Yep, I said it. Absolutely, I said that. And for those of you who are sat there and thinking, oh, military coups are just, that's for third world republics and African nations. Why? Tell me why that's for an African nation. Tell me why that's for a third world republic. And tell me why that could not happen in the United Kingdom. The military have all the guns. They have all the bombs. They have all the tanks. Just imagine it now. right? Imagine it now. UK Special Forces complete, supported by the United States, financially, I guess. And, you know, all 3 battalions of parachute regiment. The Marines would probably be doing pictures somewhere and, like, I don't know, doing some photo shoot for a calendar. They wouldn't be interested. You've got, like, maybe... You've probably got maybe, like, 3,000-4,000 people. I know that doesn't sound much. However, think about this. You've got 3,000-4,000 people with rifles, heavy machine guns, anti-tank weapons. Who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? Just imagine this scenario now. And I'm not clearly not calling for this. I've not got the authority. What I'm saying is imagine this scene, right? Imagine this scene. The commanding officer, British Special Forces, or the Special Forces Liaison Officer, or whoever, SFLO, he has a secret meeting with all his commanding officers. He's like, right, listen, guys, this fucking country's going to rat shit. I've spoke to Donald Trump. He wants to take over. I think we should. And they all agree on it. And then Friday morning, the commanding officers for all these battalions get all their blokes on a hollow square on the parade square. And they're right, close in, we're having a scale A meeting. Right, okay. And the commanding officer walks out. You've got like A company, B company, C company, support company filtered in. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to embark on treason. We are going to take back this country. And they brief the battalions up. I will guarantee everybody now, you will not have one man refusing that mission. That will be the mission of all missions. That will be the ultimate mission. People think that the military are like loyal to like Keir Starmer. I've still got a lot of friends in the military, guys, and I would say that's incorrect. So imagine that scenario now, right? The CO, he says, right, everyone, go and get your rifles out the armory. Look, make sure you all look cool as fuck, because that's the main thing, right? If you're having a military coup, you need to look cool. That's the main thing, right? Because there's going to be press and media everywhere. You don't want to look like a nerd. So then 3,000 people descend on Westminster, kick the doors down of Westminster, open them like Aragorn, you know, on Return of the King, where his hair's all over the place and he just fell off the thing. Kick the doors down to Westminster. Who's going to resist? What resistance is Parliament going to do? What are they going to do? Is Keir Starmer going to go fisticuffs? Who's going to resist? Nobody's going to resist. There is no resistance. So you take Parliament, you take the BBC, you take the national media outlets, and then that's pretty much it. It's done real quick. I do think that's the way it's going, guys. I do. Right, listen, I'm conscious I've just been on a massive side quest. And yes, I'm totally rambling. Right, let me jump to the bottom. Marrow Mind is saying, I like tin fish too. Okay, well, I'm not really interested in, okay. I'm not a big fan of tin fish. It's all gone wrong. He's saying British being arrested in Dubai for filming, taking pictures of missiles. They're facing years in prison. Yeah, I saw this actually. So there's a British, I don't think it's the taking the pictures. I think it's uploading them. So there is a British guy, like it's all gone wrong, he's saying. And he said, and he's like recorded these like drones or missiles or whatever coming in over Dubai, and he posted it online, and he's looking like getting 2 years in prison for that. That's like, to me, that sounds wild. But listen, right? If you're gonna go to Dubai, you need to stick by the rules in Dubai, right? if you're gonna go and live in Dubai, you need to stick by the laws in Dubai, and I think that's true of every country. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I need a wee. I'm going to go to the toilet. Can you guys hang on there like for 2 minutes? Can you guys please hang on there for 2 minutes? 1 minute, less than 1 minute. I'm going to run to the toilet. I'm going to come back. Give me a sec. Thanks for hanging around, ladies and gentlemen. Right, let's jump back onto this. Guys, okay? Because we are living in a bonkers world. We are. Sean's face looks yellow. Maybe it's the camera. Maybe I'm an emoji. Have I turned into an emoji? Maybe I've turned into an emoji. I don't know. Maybe I'm a living emoji. Right, listen, guys, let's jump back on track, okay? Because the world is bonkers, okay? There are multiple active incidents, multiple active shooter incidents right now. There's one in the United States, although I do think the one in the United States is closed down. There is another one in Norway, and UK Special Forces base. Let me change those words around. UK. I need to change that around. UK Special Forces. Right, that's better. Base. There we are. That's better. UK Special Forces base. Oh, I need to put space in it. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. UK Special Forces base in Erbil attacked. Now, look, I would say I'm only speculating here. Oh, where do I go with this? Do you guys want inside information? I'm not going to give you inside information. I'm going to give you speculation, right? Okay. Let me go back to the map. Let me get this map on. Map. Okay. So first of all, right, I don't know where this base is. The base that's being hit by a drone strike in Erbil, I don't know. No idea. Zero ideas. To speculate where it would be, I would speculate it would be near the airport. I can speculate it would be in a Christian location. So let me show this. Where's Erbil? Right. Right. Okay. So when we're talking about this base in Erbil, I've spent quite a lot of time in Erbil. Somewhere. It's going to load up soon. It's going to load. Erbil's there. There. Maybe Erbil's not there. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm there. No, actually, I was wrong. Erbil's there, right? So what I'm going to say is this Special Forces base was in this northwest region. Now, Ankara. This area here, Ankara. Can you guys see that? Erbil's a lovely place, guys. It's gorgeous. If anybody's ever been to Erbil, it's absolutely beautiful. The whole place, it really is beautiful. Now, that area, Ankara, can you guys see that? So that area there, just west of the airport, Ankara, that is literally, that is the Christian area of Erbil. I used to live there. I used to live there, guys. There's quite a few bars. There's some pubs. I've had some good times in Ankara, guys. I really have. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because and look, guys, let me be quite clear. I don't know where this base was. It could be out in the outskirts. I don't know. It's probably not going to be in Ankara. Actually, it's probably too. It's definitely too. In fact, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Right, but anyway, so this base that was hit was in Erbil. That's what they're saying. It was in Erbil. I don't know where it was. I've no idea. Absolutely no idea where this base was. However, if you look at Erbil, right, British Special Forces and American Special Forces operating from Erbil, right? That's what we know definitively from the mainstream media, right? Now, if we speculate that the Kurdish fighters may want to make their way over. Look at the proximity here, guys. Erbil and the Iranian border. It's just east. So if we speculate that the Iranian Kurdish fighters that are amassing their troops on these border regions here, maybe by Qualiza. If we speculate that these guys, like I have done before, have some sort of Western military contingent, which I've speculated so much before, it would be very easy to speculate that the Kurdish fighters going into Iran on the ground were led by British Special Forces working for US Special Forces on an exchange thing. And this happens all the time, absolutely all the time. Like when I was in the military, you would always get Americans coming over, I don't know, 4 guys from US Delta Force, they're coming over, they're gonna be with your unit for cross training, they're gonna be with you guys for 6 months or whatever. And it's cross training, it continually happens. And those guys go out on the ground with you. And let me add this actually. There was a Delta Force guy. And he was cool as a cucumber. He was one of the team leaders. And we was doing a hostage rescue. I'd never met this guy before. He was in another multiple to me. Never met him. But we came together and was doing this big mission. And one of the things that I was absolutely impressed by was how cool under pressure he was. So cool under pressure. And that's what, like, there was all these people, like you had MI5, MI6, special branch, government liaison officers, and they were all flapping about, right? And it just so happened that these things are not. When you're planning these missions, there's not some sort of, Raven, you've got certain experience in X, Y, and Z. We're going to choose you for this special mission. Doesn't work like that. It's literally, right, okay, who planned the last mission? Right, somebody else needs to plan it. Somebody else needs to plan it. Somebody else needs to plan the next one. It's very methodical. And it just so happened that there was a US Delta Force guy and he planned a hostage rescue mission. What I'm getting at here is these international missions where you may think that it's US military leading the way, and it may be, and I'm absolutely not taking anything away from Delta. I'm not taking anything away from, I'll take a lot away from the SEALs actually. I'm not taking anything away from Delta. But these missions, they're not always planned and executed by the same people from those countries. For example, I know that of at least one, because I was on it, hostage rescue that the British military conducted. So you literally had an American dictating British military assets, British military lives to rescue a British hostage. And that was an American who did that. That was his whole thing. Nobody thought any negative. Nobody thought like it was a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing. You know, it's just the way it works, you know. Right, you've got this guy. He's an American. He's US Delta Force. He's going to be embedded as one of your team leaders now. Okay, no problem. Absolutely no problem at all. He's a solid guy. We're going to work with him. Equally, on the flip side of that same coin, there will be British military embedded with US Delta Force, and this will be a Delta Force mission. There will be British military embedded with the US Delta Force. Yep, these are the Brits. They're embedded with you guys. They're the team leaders. That's it now. And that's fine. Nobody questions it because it's nothing wrong. Nobody questions it because it works, all right? And this is one of the reasons why I say to you guys all the time, all right? Politics is just like the media arm of the military-industrial complex. The military is in charge, all right? And like, do you think Keir Starmer has secret? I'm pretty convinced Keir Starmer doesn't have secret clearance. I don't think Keir Starmer has secret clearance. I really don't, guys. I don't think he does at all. Right, listen, guys, I'm just conscious of the time, okay? I'm conscious of the time. You guys are, listen, I'm looking at some of you guys' thumbnails, and you guys are very beautiful. A seal would run circles around you, Sean. Maybe a penguin would. Have you guys seen the lone penguin? I love the lone penguin. Maybe a penguin would. I don't think, can seals run? I don't think seals can run. Hang on, let me Google this. Can seals run? I think they just flop about like that. Can right, okay. So unfortunately, the Watchman, AI is going to settle this argument, okay? And I mean, no disrespect to you, the Watchman. All I'm saying is this is what AI is telling me, right? Can seals run? True seals cannot run in the traditional sense, but they can move surprisingly fast. Up to 6 to 15 miles an hour for some species. And listen, I'm gonna be quite clear. 15 mile an hour is fucking fast. That is fast, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That is fast. By glumping. A bounding caterpillar belly flop like motion. So they just do that. And listen, I'm pretty confident I can outrun one of those. You just zigzag, right? Just zigzag. Yeah, so I don't think a seal could run around me. Certainly not. What does this button do? Says, we need teams of local crack forces like in North Sea Hijack. I don't know what is that the old movie with Sean Connery? No, it's not Sean Connery, is it? It's Roger Moore. What does this button do? Is that the old movie? I'm pretty sure that's the old movie with Roger Moore. I'm pretty sure it is. Where they have to go and like do some like North Sea stuff, like I don't know. Right, I'm just jumping down. Right, Steve T says, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. Penguin blue. Right, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Penguin blue. I don't know what that means. Yeah, the weather's crackers right now, isn't it? The weather is crackers right now. Legend has it that penguins opened up a bar on the top of the mountain. So I've got my friend, one of my friends in Ukraine. He's a little bit down at the moment, and I keep saying to him, listen, mate, embrace the penguin. Embrace the penguin and everything that is and everything the penguin represents. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let me just jump back onto this because we are massively going on a side quest, okay? Right, yes, it was Roger Moore. Thank you, The Watchman. I didn't know whether it was Sean Connery or the Roger Moore. It was Roger Moore. Yes, you're right. Oh, hang on. Right, okay, so listen, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, if you're on the live stream, if you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. Literally, yeah, you guys' fingers are fantastic. There have been multiple active shooter scenarios today. Literally today, that's happened. There's been the incident in the United States where literally a vehicle rammed into a synagogue. There were gunshots heard. Then there was fire. So that's real, guys. You know, these things are real. These things are really happening. Also, there's been British military base in Erbil hit by drones. Now, all these things collectively only mean one thing, right? Absolute carnage, absolute chaos. The world is changing, and world wars change the world, and that's where we're heading right now. Earlier on, I talked about the new world administration of things. Turns out the new world administration, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That's the reality of the way we're heading right now, and I don't know where we come out of this. I don't think we're going to come out of this anywhere positive because not enough people understand what's happening and not enough people are willing to fight back. And by fight, I don't mean violently. And I certainly, and somebody posted a picture earlier. I can't remember who it was. Somebody posted a meme and they said, like, at some point, you won't be able to vote your way out of these problems. And if you live in the United Kingdom, that time is coming very soon. Very soon. Very soon, we are going to be in a situation where voting won't matter anymore because it's not going to matter. So that's where we're going right now, guys. Okay, so make sure that you have, at the very minimum, an escape plan, a hibernation plan, an evacuate plan, a relocate plan. Make sure you've got all those things in line. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, like I keep saying, I am going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic and beautiful and amazing. I'm going to be back on tomorrow morning. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, as I am every morning. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. After I've been to the gym and had a shower, I'll be back on at 10 o'clock in the morning. I hope to see you there. I really do, guys. I hope to see you there. And Silly Gallardi is saying international law is not going to help either. No, it's not, guys. International law is not going to help anyone. I don't even think international law exists. I don't. I think international law is fake. I think it's it just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's no such there is no such thing as international law. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good night. Make sure you've hit those buttons down below. I'm going to be back on the live stream tomorrow, 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'll bid you good evening. I'll see you in the morning.